Hey, Pastor Scott here with the Weekly Word. We're talking today as we continue speaking of Jesus. I want to title it today like a question: is your news really good news? Like, is it really refreshing the way you project and talk about and live out and love people in light of Jesus? One of my favorite things in the summertime, or whenever it's hot, actually all year round, but especially when it's summer, is a nice cold Topo Chico. I actually like the H-E-B water better because I'm an H-E-B guy, but it's refreshing. What I love about it, it's ice cold, refreshing. I love to pull it out of an ice chest and have it dripping cold, and then just have that fizzy drink hit the back of my throat and just be ice cold. It's very refreshing. And so when I was thinking about today, about good news, is your good news refreshing to people? Jesus has an amazing scene in Luke chapter 4 that he sits down, he goes to the temple, and they hand him a scroll from the book of Isaiah, and he reads this passage here, and it says, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me," Luke chapter 4, verse 18. "For He, God, has anointed me to bring good news to the poor. He has sent me to proclaim that captives will be released." That's good news. "That the blind will see." That's great news. "That the oppressed will be set free." That's refreshing. "And that the time of the Lord's favor has come." So when you're talking to people, and when you're engaging with people, when you're doing life with people as a follower of Jesus, are you bringing really good news to them, or are you bearing down on them, or maybe just beating them up with the gospel, or are you giving up on life yourself and like, woe is me, I can't wait to get to heaven, and you're not really beating them up, but you're just exhausting because you're exhausted? Question I have for us is, do people know that you really care about their lives, that you really care about them in the circumstances that they're in when you're talking about Jesus to them? There's another story in Luke chapter 14, and Jesus is at this big party, and he's talking about humility, and he looks at all the guests, and they're clamoring for the best seat in the house. They think the way to be refreshed and to be and to live life right is to sit closest to the big dog, the one who invited them. And Jesus says, "Hey, take the worst seat," and then He'll call you up to sit next to Him, and that'll be the real refreshing thing in your life. And then He looks at the host, and He says this: "When you put on a luncheon or a banquet, don't invite your friends and your brothers, the relatives that you have, rich neighbors. They'll invite you back, and that's your only reward." He said, "Invite the poor, the crippled, the lame, and the blind. Then at the resurrection of the righteous, God will reward you for inviting those who could not repay you." You talk about good news that's refreshing. When you go to the broken person and you say, "Come and be a part of my life." When you go to the person who is, maybe they're crippled in their soul or in their heart or in relationships, and you say, let me be in relationship with you. That's what God calls us to do, and that's what He's going to reward. So are you living in a way that uplifts others in their broken state? Wherever they are, whatever that broken state looks like: health, relationship, finance, hope, whatever it is where they're broken, are you uplifting them by saying, "Hey, come and let me be the good news to you. Let's speak about the refreshing heart of Jesus for you, and I want to be refreshing in your life." That's good stuff.